to judge your transfer window. Alright, hello and welcome to the MatchDayVlogs YouTube channel. As always, remember to smash that like button and hit subscribe because it really does make a difference to the channel. So, as mentioned, we're here tonight to discuss the Southampton transfer window, but also to rate all the other clubs' transfer windows just to annoy them.
I like that. I like that a lot. Seeing as that's what's happened to me this week, I'm like, yeah, let's watch the reviews. And every time it's been Southampton suck. It's like,
don't you find that though? It's like when you go onto these like rankings, you suddenly sort of realize like you're just looking for the Southampton one and going like, oh yeah, go on.
To a point now, if I know a video is like 15 minutes long, I know that we're probably 8 minutes in.
Right.
That's like I can look at the bar on YouTube and be like, we're going to be there.
So in terms of how we're actually going to do this, what we're going to do is I've got, where is it? Banner there. Boom. So what we're going to do is we're going to work through this alphabetically, starting with Arsenal, Aston Villa, Brentford, and so on. And as you can see at the bottom there, you've got 8 marks out of 10 with a question mark. So as we work through these, you'll be able to see exactly where your clubs, if you've missed it, or if you're skipping ahead, or if you're jumping around this video, which no doubt many people will do. But we're going to give our totally unbiased opinion on the transfer window. And, you know, there are certain clubs that have had absolutely blinding transfer windows, and there are certain clubs that we just don't know what they were doing, whether that's because they've spent a ton of money or whether they spent nothing and got no one in. So, but please feel free, jump in with your comments, jump in the chat section, and let us know what you think of the club that we're talking about at that particular time, what your rating is. So how I'm going to do this as well is we're going to have to agree on a number, Jack. I'm not sure how easy that's going to be, but to do 2 was just... There's just too many things.
Here's the thing. I feel like I don't think there's ever going to be a point in this video where we're going to go 10 and 1. So I feel like we'll be able to find a balance. I think we'll be able to find a little mean and an average. Ooh.
Deep one, wasn't it?
Yeah, I felt that. No crackle on that one.
No. I do apologise. I'm drinking Bud Light because it was left over from the Euros. So it's not really...
Really? I couldn't tell. What gave that away?
Is that true about Bud Light? No. Okay, cool. I'll drink them then. Oh, that is bad, isn't it?
No, that's a really fancy IPA called Bud Light.
Yeah. Dear me. Right. So let's get straight into it. Arsenal.
Yes.
Okay. So Arsenal have been very, very busy in this transfer window.
Extremely.
And I don't really understand what they've done. I mean, obviously the big headline was they brought in Ben White.
Who?
From Brighton for £50 million. And obviously, you know, it's an investment for the future. But in terms of what they spent, this is crazy. They spent 150 million. And I don't really understand it.
They spent 150 mil on White, Odegaard, Ramsdale, and who's that guy they just got from Bologna? Is it Tomiyasu?
From Bologna. Yes.
They spent that, and they spent more money than on buying Varane, Sancho, and Ronaldo.
Yeah. Exactly. And I think Finbar brings up an excellent point. Arsenal spent so much and still had Cedric and Chambers starting against Man City.
Yeah,
that's insane.
and holding, and it's just they are a team that need to shore up that back line more than anything. They ship so many goals. Yep. Like, here's the thing: you build a team from the back, and then once you got that secured, a team like Arsenal, like Aubameyang and Lacazette will come good eventually. Do you know what I mean? You feed them enough, they find the form and yada yada yada. Same with Pepe and most things they got going forward. But my God, they are just mismanaged, misowned.
Yeah.
Yeah, one of the very few shining beacons from that team, you probably would say, would be Joe Willock. And he's now gone to Newcastle. He was so good last season, you would have thought maybe Arsenal look at that and go, well, we need some, a deeper squad, some more players here. Why not keep Joe Willock? But no. So what's good for Newcastle is, it's nice to see that Arsenal are now the feeder club for Newcastle. That's cool for them.
I presume you're joking here, Tom. 10 out of 10. So let us know what you think Arsenal should get in their rating. I mean, I'm just looking for some of the signings. I think Odegaard's a decent player. I like what I saw there. The transfer in of Aaron Ramsdale from Sheffield United for 25 million. Okay.
What I love is, I take it, so you're using the transfer market website I sent you.
Yes,
earlier on.
A very helpful link, one that you sent me earlier.
My favourite thing about that is it gives a player's estimated worth on there. And the estimated worth for Ben White was 25 million. And then it sees it as 52, and you're like, oh, dear Lord. Wow. Even 25 might be a little bit over the top. So, and how's Granit Xhaka still their captain?
It's absolutely mad. Absolutely mad. But
he's already sworn at the crowd and kicked them out. Like, oh, it's just
yeah.
Listen,
So what are you going to give? What are you going to give Arsenal?
I'm going to give Arsenal, considering White can be a good centre back, and Odegaard's not too bad, and I rate Ramsdale. I'm going to give them a 4.
Yeah, it's exactly what I had in mind, because they've done something, but I just don't quite see how it ties together with the long-term vision.
No.
Do you know what I mean?
And that's the problem. I think there's no long-term vision, and the transfers show that.
Yeah. So there it is.
The fact that, they gave Willian that contract, and then they've had to terminate the contract and just let him go for free. I know that people might not like him, but I think Guendouzi did a lot on loan. I was at Marseille. He was at last year.
Yeah, most of his time in fights with the crowd.
Exactly. Yeah. And again, another one that I know that some people may not rate too much, but I think it's always good to have Hector Bellerin about. I think
it's gone to Betis.
Exactly. So, and again, another one gone, another defender gone, and again, David Luiz might not have been the best in the world, but again, that's a bit of depth in your squad. All gone.
It's just, I mean, I don't want to be talking about, because we're talking about Arsenal for like 5-10 minutes already here, but it's exactly that. It's the players that they've bought at a large sum of money and have just let go on a free, and it's just like really bizarre business errors that they're doing. So there we go. Arsenal, I get in a 4.
Yeah.
If anyone disagrees with that, stick in the comment section. I'm sure probably I saw one was at -10. But there we go. So moving on to Aston Villa. Bit of a sore point, this one, for obvious reasons. They clearly had a very busy transfer window. I think they spent about, their net spend was very low, considering they also sold Jack Grealish to Manchester City for 105 million. I've got here. Is that accurate? Is it 105?
I think this
plus add-ons, is it?
I think that's add to the add-ons on. So yeah.
Right, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, it's an interesting one for Villa. I've sort of said it, maybe in that bitter ex-girlfriend style since things, but even before that with Bailly and Buendia, I kind of feel like they're signing certain players, but it kind of reminds me of Fulham of a few years ago, where they get these highly rated players in, but they're not really filling positions. They're not really mending stuff. They're just bringing in players. And I've got a feeling that it's going to take longer for them to gel than they're going to hope for. I think they're pushed for top 10, but I don't think it'll be as big a season for Villa as they think it is. But as far as the window goes, it's kind of the opposite of Southampton's window. And obviously we'll get to us in a bit, but I can see that. I can see what we're doing.
Right.
And I feel like people who look in at have been judging these transfer windows. A lot of people are like, look at Villa, look how well they've done, look at the players they've got. They've spent big, they've brought names in, yada yada. And when I see people look at Southampton, They got rid of Vestergaard and Ings and Bertrand, and they didn't get any big names to replace them. It's like, well, like in a way you're right, but in reality we filled every one of those positions.
Yeah. I love
So,
Bertrand to bits, but I just don't understand how he's getting in the Leicester squad.
and I don't understand how he's getting the praise he is, because I feel like now looking at it, and now seeing Peru playing that position, and now seeing Kyle Walker-Peters playing that position, I realise how much more there is to offer down having that down the wing. Like the attacking sides, like they're now even.
Yeah.
And you look at it back at Bertrand, and you think Bertrand did a good job. He was a good, solid fullback, but he was always a 6, 7 out of 10 player.
Yeah, he was never challenged for position either. He was
exactly
the only left back. So
exactly. So I feel like there was a bit of resting on the laurels there, and I'm not saying he did a bad job for us, but I feel like you can now see that there's more to give in that position. And I feel like over the course of the season, I think some you'll see that out of 2 players that left us being Bertrand and Vestergaard. But I feel like Villa also are going to get a bit of that, maybe outside of Danny Ings.
Yeah. I mean, I think they clearly got a decent purchase in Danny Ings. I mean, comment here about they've brought a injury-prone forward, but I think when you look on the balance of that, I mean, I just can't help but think, had City or Spurs had an idea that Ings was going to go to Villa for 25 million or whatever it was with secret add-ons.
30 mil.
30 mil. What? Yeah. Well, even that. And you look at it and go, well, surely one of those clubs would have gone, do you know what? I don't really want to spend 150 million on Harry Kane. Why don't I just spend 40 million on Danny Ings? And why that didn't happen.
You never know, mate. I feel like they would have never paid 30 mil for a 29-year-old injury-prone striker. They would have spent 20 to 25, and that's why we got 30 mil from Aston Villa.
Is Harry Kane really that different?
Yeah, the output is a bit different.
Similar age, though, isn't he?
Similar age and injury, but keep in mind, Harry Kane did the Golden Boot and most assists last season.
Yeah, it's true.
And he's done that consistently.
Yes. Yeah, fair point. But so in terms of a numerical value, I'm gonna go here. As much as it pains me, I'm gonna say, and this is on the basis of them getting 100 million for Grealish, because I think the Grealish move so destroyed the Kane move, because Spurs looked at that move and thought, well, if he's getting 100 million for Jack Grealish, well, Harry Kane's worth at least 180. That was their kind of logic. So on that basis alone, I'm going to give them an 8.
An 8. Wow, I would have said a 7. So
I was on a 7, but I thought, considering they got that much money for Jack Grealish.
Yeah, and I don't know. I know I've seen the statistics. But I can't remember if they're in the green after all of this or not. But like 100 mil to Aston Villa, it's good on any day of the week, isn't it? Everyone likes 100 mil.
They're up 24 million apparently.
Not as good as us. Okay, fair play.
Yeah, I'm not sure how accurate that is actually. But anyway, there we go. So are we going what? We're going 7.5 to meet in the middle.
If we're doing 0.5s, I'll say I think 7.5 is fair.
Yeah, okay. Just because I just can't,
I thought that'd help you out a little bit.
Yeah. Where is it? Here we go. Right. Moving on to Brentford.
Good old Brentford.
Yeah. Not really much to discuss here because, they kept hold of Ivan Toney.
That's the thing. That's the big thing you need to think. You look at it here is that they kept everybody.
Yeah.
And I think all they really brought in was centre back from Celtic.
Mm-hmm.
I feel being our feeder club, we can tell you how good Celtic players seem to hold up in the league. So that'd be good to see. And I think if you look at the team so far, they look good.
Yeah. Well, they've done the job. They're unbeaten, aren't they? Were they unbeaten?
I
Did
cannot
they
remember.
draw at West Ham?
No, maybe. You're
Oh,
asking questions I'm not prepared for, much
yeah.
like the
Hang
Leicester
on.
show I went on the other day.
Or maybe they didn't. Who did they play? Who did they play over the weekend? Get off my bandwidth.
I mean, you could just look at the table.
Okay, good night.
Yeah, they're undefeated.
They're undefeated. I'm just
So
trying
yeah,
who they played. Who did they play?
don't know. Arsenal, West Ham, and another team.
Crystal Palace, wasn't it?
That's it.
Crystal Palace. There we go. So it's kind of working for them. So I'm gonna actually it's your turn to go first. Go on, then. What are you gonna go
I
with?
would just slap it right in the middle, give him a 5.
A 5?
Just
Is
yeah,
that it?
yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
A
would you
lack
say
of
it was a good?
activity, I guess.
You didn't lose anybody. You didn't get anybody in. If you're judging this on is their team improved or worsened, you can only be like, well, it's improved because they've gotten a couple of extra players in.
Yeah.
This is not. This is never the transfer window for a promoted team to spend that much unless they're a team like Norwich or Fulham. This is their first go around, so you would expect this to be a very light window.
Mhm.
Again, probably will be in January. Won't be some loan deals, and then if they manage to secure a place for next season, that's when they will start investing. Even if they get relegated this season, that will still be a huge injection for them, and then you'll probably see them renew again and be up again. Like I feel like that might be a common bounce you see now as a championship team come up, get relegated, get that TV money, 100 mil, whatever it is, go down to the league again, bolster the squad, and come back up and fight for another round. So I feel, 5, neither good nor bad.
Okay. We'll go with a 5. We'll go with 5. I mean, it's like one of those classic things of like, if they stay up this season, it'll be an amazing transfer window, won't it? So,
Yeah.
Considering you've got, that little spend. So, moving on to Brighton, isn't it?
Brighton and Hove Albion.
I know my alphabet. So, Brighton obviously selling outgoings, Ben White to Arsenal. Ryan's in the room. How you doing, Ryan? I've got the England game on in the background, and it hasn't distracted me of these 2 shows that we've done there. So, so there we go. Lots of people agreeing with 5 for Brentford. So, yeah, great minds think alike.
Exactly.
Apart from me, who thought I needed a little bit more. There we go. So, just in terms of looking at the Brighton outgoings, mainly just Ben White, really, isn't it? In terms of anyone of notoriety.
With Brighton, really, it's a big payday for Ben White. And then what have they done with the money, considering they are a team that needs goals?
Mm-hmm.
Not a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, this would be a bit like Villa on a very smaller scale, where someone's paid astronomical prices for one of your players, and what have you done with it? And I think what they get a centre midfielder from Salzburg, and is it Cucurella, whatever his name is, from
Getafe.
That's it. Yeah, and he's a winger, left midfielder. I don't see where any extra goals coming from anybody there.
Yeah. And also, they kept hold of Graham Potter.
They did. I mean, that was a big get. I feel like he must have been on a few lists this summer. Seeing as there were so many manager vacancies, he definitely would have been somebody that was on the lips of a lot of people. But I think he does a great job at Brighton. I just feel like whoever's buying the players, bringing the players in, or making those sort of decisions, I don't see what the game plan is.
Right, it's time to lock in a number. I'm going to go... Is it my turn to go first?
Yes.
It is mine. I'm going to go with a 7.
A 7? I would have gone for a 6.
They got 50 million for Ben White.
They did get 50 million for Ben White.
For that.
All right, considering that, I'll give him a 7.
There we go.
But my thing of that is, what did they do with that money?
Yeah, well, they've kept hold of, I can't remember the centre midfielder's name, but they've got some decent players in there, and they're playing good football. And where are they in the table at the moment? It's looking quite rosy for them.
Oh yeah.
So all looking good. Right. Rolling on to Burnley.
Burnley. Burnley have finally spent some money. How about that?
Yeah.
They finally spent a bit of money. Fair play, Sean Dyche. You've waited all this time, and they've allowed you to spend about, what was it, 20 mil? Good man. Brilliant. But that's it's Burnley, isn't it?
Yeah.
If they can get, considering last season, they didn't sign anybody last season, did they?
No. We were all complaining, being saying to fans, going, "Oh, Joe out, get him out," and then we're looking at Burnley again. Oh, actually, it could be worse.
I'm sure we'll get onto. I'm sure we'll get onto Jow later on in this.
I can't wait. It's gonna be fun. So this is gonna be a quick one for me. Well, it's your turn to give the number, but I don't think we need to dwell on this one too much because there's not that much business been done here.
I'm going to give them a 7.
Oh wow, okay.
Yeah,
7.
Yeah, I'm giving them a 7 because it's Burnley, and the question, the way I look at it is their squad now better than it was last season? And they've not really lost anyone, have they? No one's left Burnley.
No, that's true.
They've retained everyone. They've got in he's a left back. He was left back at Lyon. That's a big signing for Burnley.
Yeah.
He knocked Man City at the Champions League, So so sure, that's an improvement.
All right. Any takers on a we're going 7. 6.5 there. 6 to 7. We're going with that, Jack. Fine.
Okay.
7. I'm happy with that. I got nothing really contest on that either.
I think we've both got we're gonna have a very similar one on the next one as well. Because pretty good.
So here we are, and we're moving on to the likes of Chelsea. Oh wow, 11.
What a transfer window!
11 and a half.
Yep,
insane.
Pretty good form from Chelsea there.
when you consider the talent that they've let go, and
how little difference it will make to that team.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at the net spend of Chelsea, I mean, I've got a graphic here, and it's probably too small. If you're watching this on your phone, there's no chance of seeing this. I mean, we can barely see it on the screen here, but Chelsea have spent, according to this Sky Sports graphic, 3 million quid net spend.
Crazy.
And they spent 100 million on Lukaku. That's insane. Absolutely insane. So,
but all that is great, and you're absolutely right. But at the same time, they let Livramento go, so they're idiots.
Well, that's why I'm taking a point off and only giving them 10 instead of 11.
But no, what did they? I think they got 90 mil for Zuma, Tammy Abraham, and what's his face?
Yeah,
good work.
Tomori, Sapacosta.
Good work, Chelsea. Fair play.
Victor Moses.
It's a funny thing, isn't it? Because
Giroud went.
Yeah, Giroud went. I mean, the league's never going to be the same again without Giroud. It's been a reign of dominance for Giroud.
Yeah,
I think Chelsea for me are a great point of how short people's memories are in football. Because I feel like if you was to talk about Chelsea at the beginning of last season, nobody would have said they were going to win anything. Not a league, not a cup of any sorts. And now you look at him, you're like, oh my god, that's City's main contenders there.
Yeah.
I mean, he won the Champions League. They're elite, and now they've got Lukaku, who's come in and started scoring right off the bat.
Yeah.
I think they're going to be when City look back at their window, they're going to look at Chelsea and be like, oh, maybe we do need a striker.
Yeah. I mean, the only thing I thought might happen would be Haaland either being at Chelsea or Man City, and I was kind of disappointed that. I mean, I'd love to see Haaland in the Premier League. I don't care where he goes.
I think eventually you will. I think you've just got to let this current bubble pop a little bit.
Yeah.
This current Ben White for 50 mil bubble we're in.
The wages though that Haaland his agent was trying to get, it was 800,000 a week.
Yeah.
We scored.
Does he play for Southampton? If not,
oh, he's getting caps thrown at him. What's his shirt say? God, that's not a welcoming thing. Sorry, I'm going to just scored against Hungary. There we go. Didn't look very nice. Nation known for their inclusion.
Bring it on.
So, sorry, we're talking about Chelsea and Haaland's and wages and stuff like that. So that was the only sort of thing that I can sort of see that, you know, maybe that would have been crazy. But of course, you know, if you're bringing in Lukaku, you're not going to bring in, you know, Haaland as well. And I don't think Haaland particularly liked the idea of going to Chelsea. I think he was sort of holding out for either a City or United. But
he won't go to United because Roy Keane killed his dad. Why do I have to keep going over this? Like, he's not going to United. Roy Keane straight up murdered his dad. It's Star Wars style.
yeah. Maybe we see
Roy Keane's his daddy now.
Yeah. Dear me. Oh, sorry, I've spoiled the. Tom's watching the ITV Hub, but it's still 0-0. Sorry, Tom. Sorry.
So what we're giving Chelsea then?
I'm giving him a 10.
A 10. Yeah, all right. I'll give him a 10.
Yeah.
I'll back you with that.
I mean, there's lots of 9s in there. I mean, I think, you know, whether or not there was a particular area that they didn't strengthen in, but I just look good. Well, it's the talent that they've lost as well as, you know, still being able to maintain it. So, my next one, I would be well happy with that. 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10. So, moving on to Crystal Palace.
Big one. Big changes.
A ton of players out of their contracts. Of course, Andros Townsend, then ending up at Everton.
Yeah.
The likes of Scott Dan going off to Reading. And
Kale, Van Aanholt,
yeah,
Sacco, McCarthy, Hennessy. The list is huge.
A whole new squad, effectively, really, isn't it?
My notes just my Palace notes say Palace, fresh squad, total rebuild, Will Hughes.
That's an interesting one. Will Hughes.
Because I really rate Will Hughes. I thought he was Watford's shining light.
Mm-hmm.
And then I cannot believe when I saw that transfer announced, in my mind, very briefly, I went, "Oh, that's fine. Watford are in the Championship. They wouldn't be in the Premier League and do that. That'd be stupid." And I was like, "Oh no! Oh wait, they are in this league."
So multiple changes, but also they got change of management as well. So you've got Patrick Vieira,
big Vieira involved.
Yeah.
Again,
big unknown.
Palace for me. It's a bit like Southampton in the sense where there's a lot of young players in there that are gonna have to prove themselves to the general public. I'm sure if you were talking to Palace fans right now, they'll probably be able to say things like what we're saying about Livramento, but it can go either way for Palace this season. It's either going to be, you know, a decent stay on form. You know, with Roy, I think they were all sort of content for being 13th, that sort of area, 12th.
Mm-hmm.
I think a good season for them this season would be, you know, 10th to just maybe 10th to 9th, and a bad season would be all the way down.
Yeah, I think survival. I think Palace are really looking at, you know, just trying to stay in the Premier League. That's their goal.
Yeah.
I don't see them sort of making moves that they want to sort of push for the European places. And I think there's loads of clubs in this position, you know, us included, to be quite frank.
Exactly. I feel like that a lot like us.
Yeah, absolutely. Did you like my quick little moments of like and subscribe?
Yeah, I love that.
Like that. Just put that in there.
Love it. So what are we going to give Palace then?
What are we going to give Palace? Let me see. 5.
Going to give them a 5?
Yeah.
See, I was thinking like 6 to 7 because I feel like they've bought a lot of players and I'm ready to see them do stuff.
I'll stretch for 6.
We'll go for 6 because there was a lot of players that have lost, and it's going to be hard to see what they get in. But it's not like they lost all those players and they didn't get anyone.
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
You know,
and I kind of feel bad as well because when we give these judgments on these clubs, like we don't know that much about these specific.
I'm going off of a lot of personal bias on this, and my bias on this is they lost a lot of players. They've got a manager who I like. I like Vieira. You know, obviously I've not seen much of his management, but I like Vieira.
Are
Yeah,
you
and
happy with a 6 on this? Are we doing 6?
I'm going to say 6.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I'm with you on that. But you know, it's always like you always know the most about your club. So it's but from what we've seen, there's been activity. They've had to do a lot of papering over the cracks in terms of like tons of players leaving on a free. So that considering they've got points on the board already. Yeah.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Fair enough. So moving to Everton.
I've
This is
got
an interesting one.
a 1-word note for Everton, and it begins with an A, and it's not awesome. It's kind of the opposite of that.
Well, it's average.
No, it's worse than that.
Oh, okay. Okay. It's safe to say on air.
I think it's been awful.
Oh, really?
Can we consider last transfer window?
Yeah.
And then you look at this transfer window where they got Townsend, and an aging Townsend.
Who's looked pretty good.
Begovic.
Yeah, that's odd. Yeah.
Who did they get from Leicester?
Well, I don't think he came from. I'm trying to think he came from Leicester. If he came from the German league, because he moved over there. It was Damari Gray, wasn't it?
Yeah, Damari Gray. Yeah, they got Damari Gray. That's it. By Leverkusen.
Yeah.
And that's and Rondon. That's it. And Rondon. That's not real improvements there, is it? Considering you've got a new manager in who's going to be playing with a completely different style than your last manager.
Yeah, true.
And you look at the players in the squad that are probably not going to be able to. I look at like a James Rodriguez and be like, how's that gonna work under Rafa?
Yeah.
And I think the general consensus around Evertonians, like they must be livid because last year they were sold such a dream. New stadium, all these exciting players are in, an exciting manager, aiming for European places, and now you look at it and you're like, all right, there's not too much to get excited about.
But they've kept hold of Richarlison.
Yeah.
They've still got Calvert-Lewin. They've got the England goalkeeper who had a fantastic summer.
Yeah, but this is transfers, mate. This is the transfer window.
No, I know, but it's almost like, substitutions and that. They haven't needed to make many additions. And I think the additions they've made are all like proven. Oh, I'm not going to say what happened because some people are watching it on the hub.
Not being funny, if you're watching this game delayed behind us,
that's something.
That's pretty bad.
Have a word with your provider. Yeah, what was I saying? Everton. Yeah, just seeing what Rafa Benitez did with barely anything at Newcastle. It was almost like the perfect addition for Everton to have Rafa Benitez work with an already quite strong squad and then just add some key players that he knows he can work with, like someone Rondon, and the other player who I just suddenly can't remember, Andros Townsend. So you got two key players that he's familiar in working with, so it makes perfect sense, really. So I think they've done well. I mean, I don't think they've done anything in particular, but I also look at the circumstance of if Mbappe had gone to Real Madrid, which is an insane scenario, and the fact that they turned down 180. Well, it was more than that, wasn't it? It was like 200 million pounds, close to 200 million pounds for a player that's going to be out of contract in less than a year's time.
Yeah.
So had that have happened, and suddenly Mbappe would be at Madrid, and PSG was suddenly picking up Richarlison, I would have given Everton a very low score, but they've got through it.
But would you say they had a better or worse transfer window than Brentford? I feel it feels like the exact same thing, but just the worst side of it, because it's like.
Yeah, I see your point. Yeah, it's a good point.
Like how much are they really changing compared to what they needed and what they need to do to that squad?
It's true.
I think if you're looking at everything, it's the best thing they got this summer was Rafa.
Yeah. But I still think
we've got to see how that plays out.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Fair enough. So if you're giving Brentford a 5, would you say Everton would also be a 5? Is that
I
your
would.
point?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would give them maybe a 5.5 purely because they brought in another player.
Mm. Yeah. Fair enough. Let's go with that. Let's go with a 5. Let us know in the chat section if you agree or strongly agree with us.
Well,
No, you can let us know exactly what you think. This total free speech in that chat section, and if we're getting this horribly wrong, please let us know. We'd like to know. So moving on to the likes of Leeds.
I think they've had a great window.
Yeah, I mean they got that. Was it right back or left back from Barca?
Yeah, they got Firpo from Barca for 13. I think that's great business for them. I think Dan James under Bielsa is going to be wicked. I think he wanted Jan James in the Championship. The speed of him,
Jan
he's
Dames.
Jan James. Oh, Jan Dames.
Jan Dames.
Jean Dames.
Yeah.
Jan Dames. I think their pressing game and their style of football, he's kind of built for it. And he's a player that needs coaching to go on to that next level.
Yeah.
And I feel Bielsa's just going to do the work for him. He's still only 23, 24.
Is he? Wow.
Nothing, is he? He's no age at all. So
I thought Bielsa was older than that.
hey, this guy over here. This guy.
Yeah, I'm here all week. No, I think you made a great point. I mean, Leeds are already a very strong, fit side. I think the additions they've made, the likes of Daniel James coming from Man United. I mean, he's a player that's. I think he started every game for Man United this season as well. So
yeah,
that's
it's the Ronaldo effect.
Well, yeah. But that's quite an accolade, to say that, because I don't think he really featured that much last season. So, interesting.
Well, again, they were waiting for Sancho to be fit and ready to play. So it was just,
I guess so.
It was timing, really, more than anything else.
Yeah,
the fact that he's now at Leeds tells you sort of where his place in the team is. And that's not with United. So,
no,
I think it's a good deal, a good bit of business there from Leeds.
So, are we going to go with this number here?
I was going to say something along those lines. Yes.
There we go. We're going to go with that. We're going to go with a 7.5 for Leeds.
I like it.
Can't wait to do the next one.
Yeah. There's a couple of players in there, aren't there?
One or two that we know very well.
Yeah.
Okay, so moving on to Leicester. Obviously, they took Vestergaard. He had a year left on his contract. And they took Ryan Bertrand, who had no years left on his contract. So one was free. One cost him 15 million quid, I think it was.
Yeah, I think, well, they paid 15, maybe close to 16 of add-ons for Yannick.
Yeah.
Bertrand on a free. Can't help but notice Leicester till I dive now popped into the chat. Now we're here in the video.
They're literally ready.
They knew what we were going to talk about.
Do you know what, though? There's one signing that I think they probably, in hindsight, they could have made from us that they didn't.
And who's that?
Danny Ings.
Yeah, you're not wrong there. They probably could have gotten him, and but again, I still probably would have been surprised if he went to Leicester.
But he would get instant European football.
He would have, yeah. It would have made more sense. But I would still have been like, oh wow, okay, Leicester.
Yeah, playing up front with Jamie Vardy. I mean, I just it would have still pained me to see him leave, but I think that move perhaps would have made a lot more sense than the one that he did. I mean,
I agree. I think it would be more on the Southampton one, but I do think Vestergaard is not a great signing as everyone thinks it's going to be.
Mm-hmm.
The fact he's already out with an injury,
isn't
great. We send
our best.
We send our best for that, but let's be honest, he was injured quite a lot for us.
Yeah.
And then
he's too tall. That's his problem.
I mean, what would happen a lot with Vestergaard is he wouldn't be great, and he'd have a little bit of form, go out injured, come back, not be that great again, get all right, get injured. It was a constant rotation, and then it got to a point where we had because we only had, and then on the Bertrand, because we only really had Kyle Walker-Peters making those plays down the wings, we only had one side to start attacks from. So if it wasn't that, the play was then get Yannick to pump the ball over the top. And again, I don't really think he's as good as people think he is at doing that, because how many of those actually worked?
Yeah. Exactly.
Really.
And I also think with the likes of Ryan Bertrand, and I'm going to be careful how I say this because I want to, I've got a lot of respect for Ryan Bertrand, but I almost thought that he was going to go to Arsenal because Arsenal would be the only club silly enough to offer him a 3-year deal, just from the pure fact of his fitness. Because I just don't think he's not Ryan Bertrand.
He's not
Champions
the fresh
League winner
player
playing on the
exactly.
wing.
Exactly. He's not the player that we got from Chelsea.
Mm-hmm.
And for a team like Leicester, that are trying to push further up the table, play those European nights in football, maybe it's a bit more depth in the squad. But yeah, I feel like he's not quite that player.
Yeah. But you know what? When I watched them play in the Charity Shield, is that what it's called? Community Shield? Charity Shield?
I believe, it's called the English Super Cup. I believe that's what Leicester Till I Die were calling it. I think that's what Chris was calling it.
But you know what? To see Bertrand walk up and pick a medal for that gave me a little bit of a heartwarming sensation. It's like, good for him. Good for him. For all the effort that, okay, he's got a Champions League winning medal as well. But, for all the hard graft that he's done, he deserves a bit of standing on a podium having fireworks blow up behind him. So
he deserves a song.
He deserves a song.
He deserves a song.
There we go. So, with many watching in, how many have we done so far? Because I feel like we haven't done anywhere close to enough for the time that we've been talking about it. We're on 41 minutes here.
We got to do this, pal. We can wrap it. Don't worry, because my notes kind of run out after Southampton, so we can rapid fire the last few.
Jolly good. So what are we giving Leicester?
Leicester, I'm going to give Leicester, including Daka and the other bits and bobs they got, I'm going to give them a 7.
Okay. Yeah, I can do that.
I know you can. You just
7.
Click on the box and then hit 7 on the computer and it comes up on the bottom there.
I made the keys really big as well today, so it's really easy for me. I'm going to give him a 7. You should have bought Ings as well. Never mind.
There's a comment that says, we're talking about Bertrand and Vestergaard, like, what's going on, wives. Do you know how many goals I've seen them two ship? I'm just saying, you buy defenders from the team that has one of the worst defenses in the league.
Yeah.
It's, somebody buys McCarthy, I'll be saying the same stuff.
Do you remember that transfer window? I think I was in the States actually chatting with Matt from Southampton Podcast Delivery, and we were having a beer and we were actually laughing and joking and said, can you imagine if someone gives us money for Cedric in this window? And literally a week later, Arsenal gives us 5 million quid for him to sit on the bench injured. It's crazy world we live in.
But he scored that banger on his debut though, so
deflection. He's not happy. 7.
Sorry, Chris, what do you want to give it?
What would your number be? 6? 6? 6?
Well, seeing as I only got a 26 on his show the other night, I feel like you should be happy with a 7. Them questions I was given were well hard.
You're from the 80s. Dear me.
Listen, I keep going back to it, and I just don't think how I was meant to know what centre-back signed from Leicester to Southampton in 1988. I don't feel how that information was meant to be randomly retained in my head. But I love going on the show. They're great banter. Everyone should go back and watch it purely because I'm terrible, but it's a bit funny.
Absolutely, and everyone go and smack them a sub to the channel because they're literally, I think they're a few away from hitting the 1K mark. So for all the effort that
go see those guys. They're great.
So check them in there. And you're getting a 7. There we go. Right, Liverpool. What a weird window for Liverpool. They haven't really done anything at all, really. They've got another player from RB Leipzig.
Yeah, they got. Was it Conte?
But we're
Konate. Yeah, it's Konate, right?
But we're hitting an era for football which is just gone a bit weird. Because Barca's got no money, The Italian league's got no money. And there's lots of bizarre things happening. And Liverpool, it almost looks like they can't compete. But it's weird because they are still like globally a well-known club, so they should be able to sell shirts to build up
Are
revenue.
Liverpool still like trying to do the whole Moneyball situation where they buy low for big returns, or what they have been doing, and now they're just at a point where they're just priced out of everything. Like even those players are just out of their reach.
But they've got an extra problem. Is the fact that they've got some big name players, and they're also on big wages,
And they're getting older.
And they're getting older, and suddenly you've got time into contracts. Otherwise, you lose money when they move on for free, and you don't want to do what Arsenal have been doing at all. So you've got all these players on these high wages where they just don't seem to be keeping up the likes of Man United and Man City. I mean, case in point, could you ever see the likes of an Mbappe go to Liverpool? Would you ever see that happening?
But at the same time, like you look at when they make purchases and big purchases, they do go big. Look at Van Dijk, look at Alisson. So for me, I thought two great purchases. But I thought last summer when they bought Jota, I was like, okay, so they've not gone big this summer. They've got a decent new attacker in. I mean, and unfortunately for them, and maybe this ties into it in the fact that unfortunately for them last season they didn't get to see a lot of Jota because he was injured. So now maybe this season they're like, right, now Jota's fit. Let's play with him and see what happens. Because if he works out, you might not need to buy another attacking player. You might be good with what you've got, and then next window you can spend that money. But at the same time,
Jota was a good buy though.
It was a great buy, but the way I look at it, and I think it's a tale old as time, as you look at Blackburn. They bought this great squad to go and win the league and dominate things, and they did. And after they did not reinvest in the squad, and then it dropped away again.
Yeah.
And I think it will come a point with this Liverpool squad being unchanged and as long as it has been, where it could potentially get quite stale, and they don't do the business. Not only does the players' contract running up, but eventually Klopp's will.
Yeah.
And you got to wonder where this team's going to be in a bit. When we say it's somebody else, we all know it's going to be Steven Gerrard because their contracts end on the exact same day. Like it's
how ironic. Yeah,
it's weird that. But what's that? But I know that's so long term, and loads of things can happen, and yada yada yada. But what squad will Gerrard inherit?
Yeah,
because if it's going to be like David Moyes going into United, where it's an old squad that was barely getting by purely on the brilliance of the manager, it could be some problems. So I would just just wish Liverpool done a bit more.
Wolves fan here still waiting on the money for Jota. Is that true? They sent you an IOU. How does that work? Let us know how that works. If there's any sort of transfers we're talking about and they've got weird clauses in and where you've got to sort of give 20% of ongoing fees to a parent club or something like that, let us know. Because we won't know those details because we haven't had the time to research that sort of stuff. So
that's for your fan channels, and that's what that's what they're there for.
So what are we going to give Liverpool?
Like,
is it my turn?
Yeah.
Can I give you a number?
Go on.
4.
I was going to say 2 or 3.
I'll give it a 3. It's fine.
Purely because the argument you have for Everton and Brentford is that they didn't lose anybody, they didn't gain anybody, but they bolstered the squad in certain areas.
Liverpool did none of that.
Yeah,
it's true.
And they have areas that they can improve to a point where, I mean, what did we give Arsenal?
I'm looking back at that thinking like we might give Arsenal a bit too much. We gave them a 4.
Gave them a 4. Okay, then I will give.
But that was down to activity as well. Like they were active.
Yeah.
As, we don't understand any of it, but they were active.
Okay, then in which case let's give them 3.
Yeah. All right. So, Man City.
This is difficult.
They bought a few, didn't they?
Well, they bought 2, really.
Yeah, that's true.
And they need a striker. So it's a weird one. It'll be similar to the next one. We can blast through these ones. Don't worry about it. So yeah. I think Grealish for 100 mil is expensive. It's a good signing. It's something they need, but was it the thing they needed for 100 mil? Probably not.
No, I'm not convinced either.
No, and the few games that we've seen so far, he's got an assist, bits and bobs, but he's not. It's not like he's gone over there and he's torn the place down. He's now going to be a part of a system of Pep Ball where he probably won't play every single game, but you will see him start the next few games because he cost 100 mil.
Yeah,
and that's a lot of money for City. I know that sounds silly, but for one player, that is a lot for City. They tend to spend 50 here, 60, maybe 70, but on multiple players. And this season they've gone Grealish 100. Yeah. And maybe not this season we'll see it, but maybe next season, or as the game goes, as time goes on. But
yeah, they can, but they don't like to, and I think that's been evident. But
if United had just signed Sancho, you'd be like, "There's more you needed there." So for me, City, great signing, one of the signings of the summer, but it's not made the team all that better.
No, agreed. So with the likes that they failed to bring in a number 9, do they need a striker? I mean, they scored 5 goals against.
I feel like this season with Chelsea and now with United with Ronaldo and Spurs doing what they need, I feel like goals are going to be important.
They scored 5. I mean, okay, it's
but they scored 5 again. Yeah, exactly. So there will be games where that happens, but I still think 2 seasons without a registered number 9 or a striker might be a season too far.
So we're going with 6.
Yeah,
no.
6.
All right, Man United.
All right,
they've been a bit busy.
Yeah. Yes, a bit.
I mean, when you think about what they got for how much net spend, okay, I've got a number here. Is that their expenditure? Okay, expenditure is 100 and... Wow. Minus 99.
See, like you complain that we're getting strung up on time, and you're the one that's being surprised by your own statistics.
They did spend. They pretty much spent the same amount of money as Arsenal. Is basically what they did.
Yeah.
But in with that, they got the greatest player of all time. There is no questions here. Ronaldo, the greatest player of all time. They got Varane, and they got Sancho. Yeah. I mean, it's just like. I mean, the shirt sales you get from those players alone, chuck Cavani into it. I mean, effectively, they're doing your payroll for you, aren't they? On shirt sales.
I said to my friend Ian, the big United fan, right after the Euros, I said to him, if United, like when all these rumours were flying about, before anything sort of proper happens, I said, if United somehow get Ronaldo, Sanchez, and Ramos, it would be the best thing ever. But instead, they got Ronaldo, Sanchez, and Varane, and you're like. All right, that's even better. So, we all know that they need a number 6. We all know they need a defensive midfield player because Fred and McTominay aren't quite good enough.
Right. Yeah.
So that's the one thing for me that brings them up. That moves them from a 10 to a 9 because you've had the best window ever. Like that's amazing what you've got for the prices you've got them at. Yeah. But you did need this one thing that we all knew that you needed, and you still didn't get it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Who was out there? I don't know, but you needed it. Maybe like a Declan Rice or something like that. But if they had signed a Declan Rice, it would have been the best transfer window. They signed Phillips from Leeds somehow. Would have been amazing. But I think as far as it goes, amazing stuff from United.
A Yorkshire Pearl. So are we going with a name for United?
I'm going to go for 9.
Manchester United are getting a 9. Well, we clarify which United I'm talking about now that there's 3 in the league. So there we go. So there we go. Man United are getting a 9. The revenue they'll get from Ronaldo shirt sales alone. Decent business. Yeah. So moving on to the other United, Newcastle United. Pretty quiet. Got in Joe Willock. Generally frustrating a lot of Newcastle fans, feeling that they're pretty hard done by. Do you see anything of a positive from their transfer window?
Well, the positive they got there's that their best player from last season, Joe Willock, is now their player.
Yeah.
So great. It's great for them, and that's a great sign-in, brilliant. But doesn't mean it doesn't change anything from last season. It's still the exact same team from last season.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's not great.
3.
Yeah, 3. It's you look at the win. You look at it, and it's Mike Ashley doing the very bare minimum. He is quite clearly enough to keep this squad in the league, so I can sell it.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
So yeah, 3.
Absolutely. I don't think many Newcastle fans will be. The Newcastle fans are pretty vocal on this channel, but I'm sure that they'll probably.
Yeah, that's the thing. I don't think any Newcastle fan would agree because they all agree that Ashley is terrible and the club's won poorly.
Yeah.
But the good thing is that the things that they like is Joe Willock, and they've got Joe Willock. So I'm glad that they've got that to hold on to.
Yeah, absolutely. Right, Norwich. I see sold Buendia. Took on Angus Gunn from our good selves. They got the Brandon Williams deal from United, the loan deal. Do you know the details of that loan deal? Was that?
I don't know too much, but I think it's the same as it would have been for us. I think it would have been a $4 million loan fee. I think that's what they said it was. Was it a $4 million? Hold on, let me take a look. See.
Yeah.
Just a transfer, but yeah. So that's what they were saying. But there's what's funny is they picked up some play it was Gilmore and Williams coming out of the Euros that I heard rumours for Southampton, and both of them went to Norwich. So I think there's two great gets from Norwich for that on loan. They got Rashika from Wonder Bremen. I can never say their name. How do you say their name, Mike?
It's got another. Sorry.
Who cares about that? We're talking about Norwich.
Declan Rice. We're just chatting about Declan Rice. Look at that.
Well, that's because I know. So yeah, I feel like they have bolstered their squad quite a lot this summer. People to be proven, but they've got a lot in. And again, okay, they've done a lot with their money that they got from Villa. So I feel, and they're they're $6 million in the green. So I think it's a really good transfer window for Norwich. Really, I think they could be quite happy about it.
Yeah, I mean, there was talks about what Norwich do, and they tend to they get to the Premier League, they get relegated, they win the Championship, they get to the Premier League, get relegated, win the Championship, and it just seems a bit of a yo-yo effect. But I see the players that they brought in, and I'm still thinking, are you just doing this again?
I get that. I get that. A lot of people, like the way that I was comparing Aston Villa to that Fulham side. People sort of look at this Norwich side, but I think the players that they've got, they're not aging players that have just names. You've got, two great signings from the German league. I think Gibson from Burnley is a good get, and like I say, Williams and Gilmore from United and Chelsea, both good players that are really do a job in the side. I know they are, but still going to bolstering. They're still good for the season.
Yeah, I suppose.
Still a transfer in. They still got them.
Yeah. But I just think that they'd be quite content with 20th place. I don't know. I think those signings there are enough to get them to 16th. Maybe they're going to battle. I'm not saying they're not going to be in a relegation scrap. Of course they will be, but will that squad be good enough? And when I look at those signings, I'm like, yeah, you could be. I look at other teams in this league, and I think those are the ones that can go. League predictions are crazy, but I feel like for what they can do, I think Norwich have done a really good job. Yeah, fair enough. So what are we going to rate them?
I would have given them a 6.
Oh, really? Okay. Right.
6, 7.
All right. I'll argue with that. Now we get to the good stuff.
Right, this is where the video doubles down in its time. Right, okay.
Everyone get comfy, go make yourself a cup of tea. We're about to talk about the greatest football club in the world.
And the greatest transfer window in the history of transfer windows.
So, when you speak to most opposing fans, I'm going to bring down this graphic for the time being because it's very yellow. When you speak to most opposing fans, they look at Southampton and they think like, oh, you sold Danny Ings to Aston Villa, one of your rivals, and you lost Vestergaard, who we hear lots about, and Bertrand, who we remember when he used to play at Chelsea, and all these other players. You've lost all those players, and that's all they seem to be focusing on, not really knowing a lot about the incomings. And And I think that's
Yeah.
fair enough because, a lot of the players that we've gotten this summer, we were like, who? I don't know. Let's do a bit of research. Let's have a look what they're about. And they're great signings and they make sense for the long term
Club.
vision. But the thing that for me, as a completely unbiased Southampton fan, is the fact that we're looking at our squad now, and instead of having one option in left back, and instead of having our entire wage bill put on trying to keep one striker in a place where he doesn't want to be, we've suddenly got multiple options in multiple areas with versatile players that can play on opposing sides of the pitch, and it just looks a whole lot better. I think the only gaps that we can see is goalkeeper and number 6. I think aside from that, I mean, I put up a poll on the YouTube polling thing on the community section, and let me see where that ended up. But effectively, the voting was, are you happy with this summer's transfer window? And the options were yes, no, and a third option, which was perfection had we found a number 6. So in terms of the votes, we had 70 votes overall, and 51% said perfection had we found a number 6. 10% said no, they didn't think we had a good transfer window, and 39% said yes. So overall, 90% of us are pretty happy with this transfer window, which I think speaks volumes. I mean, is that sort of a general consensus of the Saints fan basis? Do you think that's about right?
I think the only Saints fans that don't think like that are ones that are going off of the media, who are listening,
Yeah.
or who are so staunch Joe out that they don't see the bigger picture of anything.
Yeah.
I think this is the first transfer window where I see what they're doing, and it's not just right. Why do we need to fill the gaps? What do we do? And then we're just buying random players.
Yeah.
This is or getting random players on loan. This is I see the game plan. It's by youthful, by trusting the academy and the scouting of those players and the coaching staff, and you bring them up and through. I think the bringing in Samir into the B team is a great bit of business because he captained the Bees last night.
Really? Wow.
He captained he's come in. He's now captaining the Bees, and you think, well, what ethic he must have. Yeah. And then did you see his Instagram story when he went to the Newcastle game?
No.
He went to the Newcastle game and sat with the away fans.
Nice.
And filmed it and going nuts and brilliant. That's exactly what you need.
Oh, amazing.
And that's our B team signings. And then we can move on to the A's.
Right.
And everything there just makes sense. Like, oh, you lost Danny Ings, you lost the goal scorer. Okay, well, we'll get the championship's second best goal scorer last season. Something like that. And he's literally, like we always say, he looks just like a young Danny. He's just he's this little carbon copy we've got. He's been involved with 3 goals since he's come in, hit the ground running.
Yeah.
We lost Bertrand. Well, we got Peru now, and he's already more attacking, already adding more to that wing than Bertrand was. Brilliant. Vestergaard, we've got the centre back is we are gifted in centre backs right now. I think we've got 5, 6 centre backs right now.
Maldini. And Jack Stevens himself.
Exactly. That's the other thing. Like, obviously not transfers, but they're now players that are really reaching new peaks, and Jack Stevens is one of them. Jack Stevens is looking almost like captain material at the back. He's commanding that line a lot better, to a point where Bednarak, who I would have said last season is our best centre back, isn't getting a game time.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
I think there was also a comment here from Ed, that buyback clause on Livramento is going to kill us. I get it. I mean, I think that certain people will look at that and go, they've only got to pay 25 million to get him back. But when you look at where Chelsea are going and the sort of players that they're going to have in their ranks, it's going to be a crowded outfit. And a player like Livramento is going to want first team football wherever he goes.
Yeah.
So I'm not that worried about the 25 million buyback clause. I mean, for one, it's a guaranteed £20 million profit, which for a club like ours, it's a decent bit of cash. But I just don't think that's such a thing to get hung up on. And the fact that we were able to buy him for $5 million, and from what we've seen so far in the 3 games where he's featured, where he started every game, I mean, That's
At the
phenomenal.
beginning of the season, pundits would have told you that Kyle Walker-Peters is probably going to be the best player in the squad this season, the one to look out for.
Yeah.
Now he's had to move wings.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
What an just incredible signing. And then, we've not seen what's his name? Is it Lorento, the from that's his name, right? The gorilla.
Yeah. Leyanko.
His social media is just making me so excited because he seems so ready for it and up for the challenge of the Premier League, and he's just a bit of a tank and a weapon of a man. So I'm excited to see him. Yeah. Brozier got his brace against Newport again. It was Newport, 8-0, but he still got on the score sheet. So I'm excited to see him, get in the squad a bit more.
Yeah,
I think and then Theo's now here full time, and again, I don't think Theo you're going to see too much impact on the pitch, but it's off the pitch.
Yeah, it's dressing room stuff, isn't it? It's that sort of like the community kind of spirit to the club.
I feel like Theo is going to be very vital with Obafemi leaving with a lot of the squad, because I feel like Obafemi and Tello are really friendly. You see a lot of the Southampton socials. Obafemi's sort of like a very sort of big bit of a character in the dressing room. So I feel like there's a few people that might be a bit like, Obafemi's gone, but
yeah,
I feel Theo's going to pick us up. So it's just a good window, mate.
It is. And obviously we get to see Lianco, we get to see Thierry Small. And these are young players. I mean, Thierry Small's 17.
Yep.
So it's.
But Livramento's has made me so excited to see the rest of them play and see. Okay, have we just got one gem here, or have we somehow managed to pick a few things? I mean, look at Salasu. Like last season, that long injury hindered him in the eyes of a lot of fans. Got to a point where they were calling him rubbish for no reason at all. It's just the fact that he was injured, and now he's first on the one of the first on the team sheet at the centre back position. So it makes me feel really good about our recruiting. I can't think of a bad signing that we've made in the past couple of years since Ralph's been there. Who's the word? Like there isn't one really. Yeah. And I saw a lot of people looking at our transfer window saying they lost things over there. They didn't get a big name signing in to bolster. You need that big name to come in to. I'm like,
what? Why do we need a big name in the sense that
it literally has not worked for us once? Getting a big name in to spend 20 mil plus on a player, apart from Danny, it literally hasn't worked.
Yeah. I mean, I think Tammy Abraham and even Giroud was mentioned, and all these sort of players, but they're all just they're used to getting paid stupid amounts of money, and we were lucky to get Theo because of his wage expectation, and I think it's more just
changed a lot.
A romantic kind of end to his career to finish where he started that it happened. But
one thing I think we might maybe really tip this over the edge for me, and it was something I saw today, was that
one.
Yeah, exactly. Carrillo, yeah. Danny Osvaldo. Yeah. We're going to be coming to be a world beater. Just didn't work. So we have to change what we do from that to we are Southampton. We are the youthful feeder club, and our whole thing is we make good young players to sell on, and if we can do some cool stuff in between them, win some big games, wicked. If we can get to a cup final, brilliant. If we can get to a Wembley game, fantastic. And we can finish European spots, even better. So I think it's been a great window for us.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm going to give a number on this.
Go on
then. And
I would just like to say, by the way, I saw tonight, the one thing that would really push this over for me is Romero from United, the keeper. He's currently a free agent, so we could pick him up.
Really? Wow.
Yeah. The only thing I thought was I bet he'll probably be on United wages. And if you were to bring him in on big wages, that could be poor. But I think he's a wicked keeper.
Yeah. It's very quick as well, isn't he?
Very quick.
So my number for rating our transfer window is what David's put here. 9 out of 10.
Wow. Big 9.
10,
Big 9.
10 with a number 6. I mean, in fact, do you know what I'm going to do? It's because we're a Southampton fan channel and we're 100% biased. I'm giving it as 10.
Wow.
Because no one else is, are they?
No one else is, and I've had to sit and argue it for a few people.
Or shall we be sensible? Shall we be balanced? Or will it just wind people up? They see all these numbers on the top, and we're marking ourselves along with the likes of Chelsea and United.
I should hope that when they get to this point, if they see that number and they get to this point in the show, they will just come back and look and see what the hell we were talking about. And because of that, 10. Screw you people. We're giving it a 10. 10.
It's my show. We're doing it.
Take that, James Alcott. That's right. We're gonna start YouTube beef tonight, mate. He said we had one of the worst transfer windows of the season. So
Really?
take that. He's one of my favourites, and I'm so ready to hear him say, "Oh, they've done some good stuff," but he just doesn't like Southampton apparently.
Might put something else in there.
10, 10, 10, 10, 10.
I was waiting for it. What number did Mike put?
Oh.
It's further than I thought.
Hey, take that. Have that, internet.
So there we go. Totally unbiased indeed. Right.
On to the next one.
Moving on to that man's club. Hurricane. Pretty good, isn't it?
Let's keep the momentum, mate. 0. Move on.
0. They didn't lose Kane. That's pretty good going, isn't it?
They got 11 mil for Alderweireld.
Really?
How about that? That alone makes me think maybe I need to give you some better scores. Wow. They even got a mil for Joe Hart.
No.
Yep. Yeah, they're fun in Celtic. Remember, everyone in Scotland, shoot to the left because he can't save to the left.
Got 11 mil for Alderweireld.
Yep.
We're taking them back.
3 mil for Sissoko. John Foyth, 13.
Good stuff. Bale went back to Madrid.
Yeah.
Interesting. Isn't Emerson Royal one of those players that Barcelona bought for 12 million and in the same transfer window sold on to Spurs?
I'm pretty sure he is, yes.
Wow.
Baller move there from Barca.
Yeah.
Risky move from them there, Cotton. Let's see if it works out for him.
But I think that's a bold strategy. Yeah, I think this is a weird one because, of course, the whole transfer window, everyone's thinking like, oh, it's Kane. Kane's going to be going to wherever, just it's a case of when and who he's going to go to. And then it didn't happen. And I think, where Harry Kane is in his career now, we'll probably know a bit more in 12 months' time, but I kind of get a feeling he might just stay there now. Do you think he's staying first?
I think, yeah. Unless somehow the next summer, Levy's like, okay, I'll let him go for 100 or less, or unless there really is somehow this gentleman's agreement there. I think he's a Spurs man now for the rest of his life. I think he'd be too old. I think City won't look at him again in two summers' time.
Yeah, I mean, he could go to City in 3 years' time and still win the League Cup.
Here's the thing. You never know. In a year, 2 years, there might be a point. They might get to a point where Harry Kane is less than 100 mil, and United pick him up, or a Leicester, or just not the echelon. So he might just get in a squad that does it. So who knows? But I don't think Spurs are going to do it.
Well, can you imagine if it gets to January and Man United are well in it? Everything's flying, but they could just do with an out-and-out goal scorer, and they just chuck 100 million at Harry Kane.
Oh, they could just do with an out-and-out goal scorer, and Ronaldo's just not cutting the mustard.
No, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So
I do know what you mean, but no, I don't see it. I don't see it happening.
So what's the number we're giving them? What's the number?
I'm going to give them a 6.5. Because they've improved. Because they've improved the team. They've added some stuff in. Emerson Royal, Brian Gill, Pape Sarr. There are adages to the team.
Yeah.
And they kept Kane. 6.5.
6.5. There we go.
Yeah.
All right, moving on. And Daniel Levy doing what he normally does, and there's a comment there saying Daniel Levy's done the dirty on him again. It's going to be a weird conversation between those two. Just one more season. Promise.
Here's a team that I reckon are going to really, really struggle this season. And that's Watford.
You think so? I think
so.
They'll probably have about 3 or 4 managers in the course of the season.
That's the thing. I think it's going to be the same old. I think managers are going to come in and out. As much as I really, really rate Dennis from Bruges, I thought he was I really was hoping Southampton were going to go in for him. Mm-hmm. I saw that he was going to be leaving. And the fact they picked him up for 3.5 mil, like, damn, I wish we had gotten that. But then I look at the squad. I'm like, they picked up Josh King on a free as well.
Which is so cool.
Yeah, Sissoko from Lorenzo from Nats, and what's his face from Fenerbahce. So they
Danny
picked up some.
Rose.
Yeah, Danny Rose. They picked up a lot of players.
Yeah.
A lot of players. But it's again, will they gel and they do it again? Reminds me of the Fulham. It's that Fulham that I always just go back to that Fulham side that Sam Sherlock. I'm like, is your manager good enough for that? Is your manager good enough to bring that many players in that have played at that level?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think so. And I think with Watford's management rotation, I don't know. But as far as the window goes, those players on the page, I think it's a good transfer window.
Yeah, in terms of the business that they've done, it's
absolutely.
Yeah, I can certainly see that. I mean, I always think the likes of is it Dean Smith at Aston Villa?
Yeah,
it is. I always look at like the amount of money that Aston Villa spent, and with no disrespect to Dean Smith, I don't really read too much into his tactics, but it's a manager that got them into the Premier League, but was very nearly relegated. But has had a lot of money thrown at it, but not really. They've always been a beatable side, never gone through a patch where you think like, oh, flipping out, got to play Villa next, sort of thing.
The only reason I'm scared of Villa this year is because it's Danny Ings, and I feel like that's how football works. Just punishes you.
He will celebrate as well, won't he?
He will. He will start on his knees because of the way that. Yeah, that'd be it. That'd be it. But
that'll get ugly out on.
It will indeed. On the flip side of Watford, they did let Will Hughes go, and that absolutely confuses me and frustrates me. Like I'm pretty sure he had the captain's armband for a lot of time for them.
Okay.
Wicked player, and they only let him go for $6 million.
Nuts.
Like he cut mustard in the Premier League when they were there 2 years ago.
Yeah.
I just can't believe they've let him go for that sort of price, really, especially when you consider us paying, what we pay for Adam Armstrong and the price of Championship players now, and especially he's technically a Premier League player when they bought him. So, yeah, for me, 6.5 is terrible business from Watford. So that will hinder them for me a little bit.
So we're doing 5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You got mail. So there we go. And we're only with 2 clubs that haven't. Well, I think West Ham in particular, they haven't really done that much business, have they?
They've not done an amazing amount, but for a team that that conceded a bit, to pick up Zuma is a really, really good deal for them. I think that's Dawson for Watford. I don't know too much about him, but I've seen on a few of these transfer review shows that that guy they got from Moscow is apparently pretty decent. Like Moscow do play in the Champions League, so he's got a bit of experience playing against some of the top 6 teams because they've had to play them in groups and bits and bobs. So, not a bad little window for West Ham, considering I think they'd probably be upset that they didn't pick up a striker or somehow retain Lingard, because I feel like Lingard was a real big part of what they did last season. So.
Yeah, they look devastating with Jesse Lingard in the ranks.
Yeah, so you never know. It might get the January time, and Lingard's still not getting time at United, because I don't think he will. Even though I thought Lingard coming on against Southampton was one of the worst mistakes Ollie made that day. So I think it's too much longer left for Lingard at United. Although I understand why they want to give him a go after how good he was at West Ham. But hopefully West Ham might be like, oh, take him back, but can we have first dibs?
Yeah. But 31 million for Kurt Zuma. That just feels high.
It does, but in reality, I think he had a couple of years on his contract left.
Okay.
It's not like that. Like, here's the thing: if Vestergaard was on 3 years left of his contract, I think we would have got. I think we'd have got 30 mil for him.
Yeah.
So
probably wouldn't have signed
all things considering, I think that for Zuma is good business for both sides. 30 mil. It's not too much money for West Ham, and it will really secure up their defence.
Mm-hmm.
And it's great for Chelsea because it's a big 30 mil out of that Lukaku deal.
Yeah. No, Lingard though, absolutely. Coming from Mark, that's the Claret and Blue Danny should have joined Wicked Valentine. That's a great point. A great point. Quad Returns also saying the same thing. West Ham would have been perfect fit for Danny's immediate European football. Yeah, weird one. Absolutely weird one. I mean, I remember when there were rumours about Danny going to West Ham, and I was thinking, no, he's going to go to Man United or Man City. But I think just the hard truth of it was he wasn't that worldy sort of big name player that would have found, I don't know, a welcome picture of those. I think he would have scored goals, but I just don't know why that perhaps wouldn't have happened. But I mean, come on, he wanted first team football, but if you're scoring goals on a regular basis, you're going to get that. It doesn't matter what level you're playing at. Let's face it, the goal against us from United was from Mason Greenwood, and he barely scratched it in. So we're one. So so what number are we giving West Ham?
I'd probably give them a 6.5.
Okay, well, I was going to say 5. Should we end up at 6?
Let's do it at 6.
Let's do 6. Because I think, they got some decent signings in there, but I think they perhaps could have felt they could have done a bit more, considering they've got a lot more games to play this season.
Yeah, a lot more.
So,
yeah, for a team that's got European football, what they brought in, not enough. Yeah. But, who knows?
There we go. And Wolves would just give it a number, yeah? No, it's just to annoy the guy in the chat session who's been waiting for Wolves for an hour and 21 minutes. Wolves have had a bit of an interesting summer in the lights. They lost their manager. New managers come in. Adama Traore looked like he was on his way to Spurs to reconnect.
It did seem like the next step of them selling a big player every season.
Yeah. And, Wolves were a club that was always sort of, a lot of pundits were talking about them sort of pushing on, Europe, Champions League, and it's all kind of last season just went a bit flat, and it's almost like no one's really talking about Wolves anymore.
Yeah, I would love to. I don't really know any Wolves fans, so I'd love to talk to them and see just how they feel.
Mm-hmm.
Because you're right, I think this time last season, or maybe with him as fit and Nino still there, everything was looking up. Even with Jota leaving, things were like, okay, we can do this.
Yeah.
We got this crazy looking Portuguese team, all these great players, and then it's slowly dropping off one by one. I think they would hope with now Jimenez is back and fit, they'll be able to do some more stuff there. I actually think the signing from last season, Silva's got some proving to do, and I think he'd be a great player, but I just don't think they brought much in. And I think I'm surprised they dropped Rui Patricio, because I actually really rated him as a keeper. I thought he was one of the better keepers in the league, big shot stopper. So yeah, not great. And they also lost. They also sold Mer to Seville. Right. So again, another player lost. And I don't think who do they bring in? No one, no really big names to bring in. I think this would be one of those ones where, a lot like Southampton, I think only a Wolves fan will be able to tell you how good it looks so far without really doing much detail on it.
Well, we've got one who's waited patiently.
How 21?
Who we signed were good. It's just who we didn't sign. So I think he still needs a centre back and a centre midfield.
So that's Gary Cahill off the free agents market, and maybe Van Einholt, maybe pick up two Palasexies. That's the problem. There's not too much. I feel sorry for him because he has made it an hour 23 now for us to talk about it.
We're going to give it airtime.
But
anyone's waited that long on the stream.
There's just not enough there to talk about, really, is there? From an outside perspective, I'm sure he can wax lyrical about it for days. And I'm sure a Wolf channel will about why it was good or bad. But from the outside, it looks like, okay, a bit like Liverpool. Like, you probably should have bolstered more. Like, there's stuff to do there, and maybe the people that you've picked up aren't game changers, but they look like they do a job. It just feels like there should be more done there to get Wolves back to where we thought they were going to be.
Look at this. You can have Diallo. I think that's harsh. That's me.
What, Wolves?
The head of the Diallo fan club. He looked all right on Saturday, actually.
He did look all right on Saturday.
Yeah, he did look pretty good.
I think him and Salasu have got a really good relationship. They seem to be bonding really well. And I think that's good to have in the centre, in the middle of the park. So, like I say, I want to see Diallo get more game time. But we're talking about Southampton players in this Wolves part. So, sorry to Doug, was it? Sorry, Doug, for talking about Southampton.
Quad is his name.
Quad.
We've got
Quarter
money
returns,
here
man.
from Australia. Morning.
Morning.
5 a.m. somewhere. Yeah, let us know where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know where everyone's watching the stream from.
Probably YouTube so on the computer, probably.
Deadline day was very funny, Jack. Deadline day was awful. Gibbs White went out on loan. Waited till the last minute to replace him, and then we can do it. Yeah, that's a weird one. Went off to Sheffield United. So that's always devastating, and I think we remember as well when Jan Valery and Jake Vokins went out on loan, and we were expecting like, oh, yeah, and they were like, no,
Oh, all right then.
no, okay,
All right.
fine, just Bertrand, fine, we can live with that. So there we go.
What will we give it? I mean, what score are we going to give it?
What score? Do you know what? I'm gonna let this guy let us know what you think. Quad
Come on,
returns.
Quad. What's the score? What's the score going to be?
You give us your view, and we'll see if we agree with it. God, look at this. God, fans from Malaysia. Fantastic.
That's what we want to hear. That's what we want to hear. Far and wide.
Yeah.
Tell your friends out there because we need, just keep going, keep it coming.
Bruno, large place. Yeah, it did look. They nearly got a point against United. Arguably should have done, and
Absolutely.
they could have won it. Actually, they had a couple of chances to score. So, look at this. Tom gave it a 5, and the Wolves gave it 5. I think that's fair.
I was going to give it a 4, but I'll go with a 5.
Yeah. I think the fact that Traore is still at the club, fantastic. Good for you. So there we go. Hang on, let me put it on the banner so at least it shows up for a bit.
So we've done it, mate. We've done the league.
We've done the league. Look at that. Do you know what?
Now,
whenever we do these shows, they always go way longer than I was anticipating.
Now, when I said to you when you popped into the shop, maybe we should do a transfer show, I did not think it would go on for an hour and a half.
No, but we probably should have just done it for Southampton if we're being honest with ourselves. But it's more fun.
I think it's fun
to do it this way. Yeah.
Looking at it now, I don't quite understand how the Thogden's video was 20 minutes.
Yeah, how do you do it on that?
They just... Do you know why? It's because they had notes and they knew exactly what they were going to say. And we are like...
Yeah. Where'd you sit for a chat? Because, there's an England game on. There's not much to watch there. Although we have just won 4-0. I'm sure I'm safe to say that everyone's streams have finished for the England game, so they know the score now. I'm going to finish with one question, though.
Talk to me.
And that is, let us know what the transfer you wish happened, but it never came to be.
McKennie.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Certainly from a Southampton perspective, but also elsewhere in the leagues.
Do you want me to just say it for other teams? Okay. I wish United had gotten... it would have been fun at United. They should have gotten a Rice.
Yeah.
Do you want me to quickly blast through the league and give you every team? Well, I think every team should have bought.
Go on, then.
All right. Right.
I've only got one, so don't feel obliged.
Okay, I'm not going to go through the whole team. It was about. I was really about to stress out and do that then, but I won't.
Oh dear. A Wolves fan saying Renato Sanchez to Wolves. Yeah, mine would have been Haaland to anywhere in the Premier League. Would have loved it if he got to City. I was thinking if he went to City, I would have definitely made the trip up to.
I look at the players that are currently coming to English teams, and I don't think it'll be long before it happens because I honestly don't think the league is that much of an option. I know the TV money's good, but I think with Barca dropping off until that stables itself, and
it's going
to be a while.
Yeah.
And I think Atletico are just taking the mick too much, really, and Madrid aren't really up to it yet.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any point going to France unless you're going to PSG. Germany after us, but then it's not on the same level as competition. So I feel everyone right now, maybe it's definitely the Premier League in Italy are the two places people are going.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I'm not sure.
Right now,
still got that graphic. Looking at no, I don't. But it did have the value of the each of the leagues and how it makes up, and like in the sense that the vast majority of the European football money is all in the Premier League,
Yep.
and then the next one down is the Bundesliga, and then the next one down from that is
Well,
Italy and Spain. I think are fairly similar, but it just shows you the proportion of wealth, and when you've got a movement of all those players from Barca leaving and going to PSG, and all those players from Italy coming back to the Premier League, and it's suddenly like you're going to get more viewership. I mean, the money that is going to be lost from Messi leaving La Liga, it's going to be huge.
Yeah.
Absolutely huge. There's suddenly no one wants to watch that league anymore just because one player's moved on. So that impact alone.
but that tells you a lot about how fickle that league was anyway.
True.
It's the same thing will happen when those players leave PSG.
Yeah.
It's just the way it is. But Premier League always wrong. It's the reason there were 6 English teams in the Super League.
Yeah.
Because it was the best league. So I think eventually you will see them come through, and it's going to be weird for the Premier League. I think the Premier League will just start to see more crazy investors in the league allows it to happen. I feel like you look at Newcastle not getting their takeover last season was probably, a big knock to them, big knock to the league itself. And once Ashley takes them to court and wins, because he will win that, because Mike Ashley's never taken anybody to court unless he knows he's going to win.
Wow.
I feel like maybe in the next 5 to 10 years, you might see some ridiculous investment in Premier League teams.
Wow.
So let's just watch out.
Sketchy money. There's rumours of Mbappe free agent and Galacticos for Haaland. Next transfer for Madrid. That's going to be an odd one, because I think like with the likes of PSG and the way they're like that in the French league, you might have a Real Madrid, which is like that in the Spanish league. So you've got like literally one team leagues, which is odd.
But as far as transfers go, can we quickly just mention, give a big up to Atletico Madrid re-signing?
Yeah, man.
And one of the funniest bits of transfers ever. Sold Griezmann for how much money to Barcelona? 80
million, yes.
80 million with a big 200 million release clause, and they took Luis Suarez on a free and a bit of a trade off for it. And they've not only won the league with Suarez absolutely storming it, but now they've bought Griezmann back for half the price, two-thirds of the price.
Yeah.
Atletico Madrid, 11 out of 10.
Yeah, absolutely.
It goes Southampton, Atletico Madrid this summer. Fair play.
Yeah, insane. And Tom's comment here: best result was James Ward-Prowse staying and signing a new contract. Yep, another 5-year contract you got to sign. It's great, absolutely brilliant. So there we go. We've done it. We've rated the entire Premier League's transfer window, and we've done it incredibly accurately, based on our Southampton knowledge of the Premier League through rose-tinted glasses.
Just a wee bit. Wee bit.
Through rose, red, and white stripes tinted glasses. We've done it. But thanks to everyone who's joined us on the chat session. If you've been here the whole stream, then good on you.
Congrats.
Fantastic. Well, if you've managed to get through this whole video without skipping, congrats. Brilliant. Thank you so much. Obviously, we do appreciate the support for the channel, so go and check out the member section, and also just smash the like button, because it just in itself really helps promote the video, so we really do appreciate that.
We are closing in on that 2,000 as well, guys, so let's I
think we're about 150 away, so fantastic. And I never thought I'd be saying that 12 months ago, where we're closing in on just 1,000, so fantastic stuff.
Yeah, I thought 2,000 by the end of the season, but I think we can do it by Christmas.
Yeah, let's try and do it by West Ham.
Wow, big words. We've
got a week. Let's do it. But thank you so much. We'll be back next week for a preview show for the West Ham game. Sound good, Jack?
Yes, that sounds good to me. Unfortunately, Mike will be attending that game on his lonesome. No me.
Yeah. Lovely. But no, definitely join us for that preview show. We've got lots to chat about in that one. It's gonna be a good game, actually. I'm looking forward to that.
And don't we have the old Oz post match as well?
We do.
So
We're hoping
everybody
to
get
have.
that app.
Yeah, download the app. We're hoping that the app's actually going to be live by the time we're ready for that one. So you won't need to download two apps to view the platform. So there's some really exciting stuff coming that effectively we'll be able to do post-match stuff in a virtual Soccer AM-like studio. So we're really excited for that. And certainly for the loyal subscribers, we'd like you to be the first ones to benefit from that and experience that app for yourselves. So we look forward to sharing that information with you once it's all available, but we'll definitely be letting you know as soon as that is. But fantastic stuff. Any last goodbyes, Jack?
I mean, just good night. Hope you all sleep well. We've all earned our rest today.
We have indeed.
We've gotten through it.
It's been a long one. We, of course, thank you for joining us with that. But as always, remember to like, comment, share, subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one. All right, see ya.
Bye.